What's up, everybody? Crash here. Welcome back to Crash Against the Spread, where we talk about sports from a betting perspective. This is our Tuesday morning quarterback show, coming to you a little later in the day. Going over what we learned this week and how we did, and looking forward to next week as far as the spreads go, the games, and try to get ahead of some lines, see where we might want to be on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. So, first up, we had the Thursday game that was Buffalo at Miami. The Bills came into Miami and won 31-10. Next up, the Bills have Jaguars on Monday Night Football, which is one of two games on Monday Night Football, and the Seahawks have Miami on Sunday. So, looking at this game, obviously we know Tua got hurt. He should be out for, I think, at least 4 games. But good win for Buffalo. They kind of dominated all the way through. Looking ahead, the Jaguars are 0-2. Buffalo might be able to get them too. Looking ahead at what that spread is, we're looking at 5.5 as I record on Tuesday. So 5.5 total at 45 for Buffalo and Jacksonville. Both teams 1-1. I'm leaning towards Buffalo the way they just played. Jaguars lost to the Browns 18-13. Had a safety in there. That's why it's a weird number score like that. But yeah, if the Browns, who did look good week 1, came back week 2, let's see how they performed here. Looks like Cleveland dominated time possession. Deshaun Watson, 186 yards, no TDs, no interceptions. Trevor Lawrence, 220 yards, no TDs, no interceptions. 1 rushing touchdown from ETN. 1 rushing touchdown from Deshaun Watson. So not an offensive explosion from either one. And without being able to score on offense, if there's a good defense on the other side, I don't trust Jacksonville. So they should be able to pick it up at some point, but these first 2 showings don't look good for them. So Bills -5 is what I'm looking ahead to for the Bills and Jaguars game on Monday. Seahawks, I expect them to beat Miami on Sunday, just because Miami is lacking a quarterback as of this time. So Skylar Thompson, I believe, is starting. He could come out and throw a good game. He has been in the system for a while. He's in the meetings with Tua every week, so he knows what's going on. And they just brought in Tyler Huntley, who does not know what's going on yet. So he has to get up to speed. Skyler is going to start next week. He's on a short leash, though. As soon as he messes up, they're going to bring in Huntley. So we'll see how that goes. But there's turmoil there. And right now, Seahawks are also 5-point favorites with a total of 41. So they're not expecting a lot of points from either side on this one. So might kind of like the over, being that Seattle can put up some points. And if Skylar Thompson wants to surprise us, 41 is a low number. So next up, got the Saints and the Cowboys, 44-19. Saints win. One of the best higher scoring games we saw. KC also had 26-25 back and forth all game, but I'm a Saints fan, so this was my gem of the week here. Cowboys are in trouble. I mean, once you pay those guys that and they don't show up against a team that you expected to beat at home, ruined your home record, there's going to be a lot of questions going forward. Not to say that they didn't just play a good team, who had their number. There's always a back and forth rivalry between the Saints and the Cowboys, even though they're not in the same division. So I think their fans just hate each other. But good win for my boys, terrible win for the Cowboys. Next, the Saints have the Eagles, which is, I would say, another test. But coming off what we just saw, I don't like the Eagles against the Saints right now either. And I guarantee you they're probably favored. Ooh, Saints favored by 2.5. Okay. So Saints at home favored by 2.5. Totals at 49. Eagles defense is at least in the second half, was not too good. Nobody scored in the first quarter of that Monday Night Football game, which ruined my over. But the defense let up more points than they needed to in the second half. So, Ravens, what is up with the Ravens? I know Vegas just kind of played a good game, so I don't want to take anything away from Vegas. But it went all the way to OT, and the Ravens couldn't get it done. So now they are 0-2 going into week 3. And the Ravens have Green Bay on deck. No. They have Dallas on deck. So after what we just saw from Dallas, I don't know, this could be a good game. They're both coming off losses. They both need wins. I would say that's a good game. No telling what's going to happen in that game right this second. Ravens are favored on the road by 1 point. Total's at 48. So that should be an interesting one as we get closer. See if the line moves. Bucks at Lions. Bucks beat the Lions. The Lions are losing the close games that they won last year. So let's keep an eye on that. Buccaneers just have some good continuity. They brought back everybody from last year, so they're kind of on the road playing free. Nobody but the Falcons, I think, had expectations in NFC South. So even after last season, the Panthers didn't really have any expectations. So next up, we got the, or let's just say Bucks have the Broncos next week. Bucks should get that win. Lions at the Cardinals. Cardinals should get that win. So that's where I'm leaning towards for that. Colts and the Packers. This is one of the ones I missed. Colts couldn't score anything on the Packers, and the Packers' run game was really working. So no need for Malik Willis to have to do a lot. They won 16-10. So he got his first win, his first touchdown pass, all that stuff. So a lot of confidence going into next week. Packers are playing the Titans, and the Colts are playing the Bears. So Colts could have a get-right game against the Bears if Caleb Williams can't figure it out just yet. Looks like Colts are favored by 1.5. They should be able to win that. But the Bears defense, they've been playing some low-scoring games too. So Packers are at the Titans. Will Levis hasn't looked too bad. That spread is 2.5 in favor of the Titans at home. So very low total at 36. That might be right where it needs to be. So we'll look at that. If it gets any lower, I might want to go over. If it gets any higher, if it gets to 40, I definitely might go under. But we'll look at that closer to Friday. Jets and Titans. Aaron Rodgers got his first win. He has to face the Patriots up next on Thursday Night Football. That spread is Jets minus 6.5. Total at 38. They won this one 24-17, so that would have been 41. Jets are playing they're scoring more this week than they did last week, so with that type of progression, we can see them scoring a little more the next week. Patriots, same thing. They scored a little bit more this week than they did last week, so that offense might be getting the hang of itself. But that defense, that Jets defense, I'm still going to roll with the Jets. I don't know if that spread is slightly too high, though. So hopefully it comes down. Hopefully we see some money come in on the Patriots. And I'll look at it on Friday, Saturday before. Or no, this is Thursday's game. So I'll look at that Wednesday night before we make our decision for Thursday. So we already know the Titans play the Packers. And we are leaning. We don't know what we're leaning in that game yet. Looking at a total. This is another one I lost. The 49ers at the Vikings. Minnesota won 23-17. So Sam Darnold led them to a win over the Super Bowl favorite 49ers again. What I like about this is new quarterback with the right team always works. So Sam Darnold had a couple bad showings in different cities, and he shows up in a system that works and ends up being able to get it done and get some good teams. So it's only week 2, but this Minnesota team might be a bet-on team with the Saints. So I'm looking at those 2 teams as bet-on teams. I'm looking to fade the Broncos and the Panthers, and I'm just going to keep my eye on the Lions and the 49ers because they should be playing better, and they're not. Next up, Vikings got the Texans, which will be another test for Sam Darnold, and the 49ers are playing the Rams, which haven't looked good. Should be a get-right game for them. Seahawks hit the Patriots. Seahawks won in overtime, 23-20. We already said Patriots have the Jets on Thursday Night Football. Seahawks have the Dolphins on Sunday. Giants at the Commanders. This was a good Commanders win. First home opener. They won 21-18. Giants, still the same old Giants. So each team in the NFC East lost except for the Commanders, which we haven't been able to say in recent years. So see who makes a run in that division by the end of the year. But the Commanders have the Bengals coming up on Monday, which will be a test for Jaden Daniels and the crew. And the Browns have the Giants coming up on Sunday. So Browns should get that one. Let's look at the spread. We're looking at -6 for the Browns. Possible. I'm not going to say they can't do it. Commanders and Bengals. Bengals are 8-point favorites against the Commanders. So I'm almost leaning Commanders with over 7 points. So that's kind of where I'm looking for that one. Chargers at Panthers. Looking to fade the Panthers for the foreseeable future. I am going to wait for sure to see this first game with Andy Dalton, just to make sure it's not just Bryce Young. But I'm going to wait to see the first game with Andy Dalton before I stick to that. But the Panthers have the Raiders, who just beat the Ravens. And the Chargers are up against the Steelers, who just beat the Broncos, which Broncos haven't looked good either. So the more games they play, that's not exactly the best looking win for the Steelers. But that defense is still Steeler D. But the Chargers blew out the Panthers. So we'll look for that to happen again next week against the Raiders. Browns at the Jaguars, 18-13. Jaguars 0-2. Got to face the Bills next week. Giants at the Browns. We're leaning Browns already. Raiders at the Ravens, 26-23 in overtime. Raiders win. Already discussed. Ravens at the Cowboys next week. Raiders at the Panthers next week. Arizona and the Rams. Cardinals and the Rams. Cardinals won 41-10. Rams could not get anything done. That 10 points came late too. So Cardinals at the Lions next week. I like the Cardinals. We are looking right now at a 2.5 point underdog spread for the Cardinals at home. Definitely on the Cardinals. I might take that sooner than later because I know that spread might swap to Cardinals being favored by Sunday. So it's a 4 o'clock game on Sunday. I can definitely see Cardinals being 2-3 point favorites by then. Pittsburgh at the Broncos. They won 13-6. Bo Nix can't seem to get any offense going with his team so far. Stout difference to how he performed in college. And with the coaching of Sean Payton, no one expected this slow of a start. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, but I'm fading them next week against the Buccaneers. So Broncos, Buccaneers, I am on the Bucks, and they are 6.5 point favorites right now. So Steelers play the Chargers. I can see the Chargers getting some things done against the Steelers team offensively. They're 2.5 point favorites, and the total's at 36, so they're not expecting a lot of points in this game. It's probably going to be moving down to So I lean Chargers. They are 1-point underdogs on the road. That's where I'll be leaning for next week's game, which is a 1 o'clock game. 1 o'clock on Sunday. Bengals and the Chiefs. Bengals look much better this week. So that's going to be a test for the Commanders. But they couldn't squeak by the Chiefs. They lost by 1 point with a last-minute field goal by Harrison Butker. So that's still makes them 0-2, no matter how much they lose by. And the Chiefs are 2-0 as they go to face the Falcons, who won a good one against the Eagles last night. I kind of still like the Chiefs in that game, but the Falcons D does look really good, and it worried me why I picked the over when the defense looked like that, but we were only 3 points off. So felt like I was still on the right side for Monday Night Football. It's still irritating me. Sunday night game was the Bears at the Texans. Houston won 19-13. Bears D did hold the Texans to under 20 points, which was good. But they couldn't get anything done on offense. They only scored 13. I think it was 1 touchdown, 2 field goals. But the Texans have the Vikings coming up. Let's look at that spread. 2.5. 2.5 Minnesota is at home. 2.5 point underdogs. So Houston favored in that game. I'd lean the Texans at that number. But the Vikings, if they play like they did this week against the 49ers, they can compete. And the Bears versus the Colts. I like the Colts as of right now. They are favorites at home. So 1.5 points. Last game, we had the Falcons and the Eagles last night. Eagles lost by 1 to a Falcons team that struggled in the first half. Look, I had the Falcons plus 5.5 because I didn't like the Eagles minus 5.5. That was pretty much the only reason. I couldn't get there with forcing the Eagles to win by 6. So by that logic, I was on the other side, and I like the over because I like the Falcons to score more points than they did in the first week due to the overreaction that happened from every other game in week 2. So pretty much came true except for the over, and like I've said twice now, 0 points were scored in that first quarter. So if we would have had 3, 7, anything, it would have been a lot closer to a 2-0 night for my Monday Night Football. So we did end the week 5-4. Could have been 6-3 real easily. But next week, same thing. We're looking at the games that we're sure about. We want to bet. We're not going to bet everything. And we're going to try to improve that record from 5-4. So we'll be back on Thursday to talk about the Jets and the Patriots. Like I said, I think I like Aaron Rodgers in that game. Patriots D is pretty good. So going to be looking at an under and the Jets for right now, and I hope that number gets a little bit shorter than 6.5. All right, but lock whatever you're locking in for tonight. Let me know in the comments what your favorite bet is for this upcoming week, and we will talk to you on Thursday.